Welcome back, tribe. I got another new mic. Hey, make sure you let me know in the comment section how's these sound. Anyway, if you're new here, my name is Ty, the manifestation goddess. I'm an energy alchemist, spiritual oracle, manifestation mentor. This is Lucid Luxury. This is our kingdom of heaven. I pretty much break down how we're playing this game, how we're playing this simulation as the Sims. And there's ways to work with me in the description, so click the links. But this video is really about no more yesterday. We're not living in yesterday anymore. We are going to go deep into what does that mean. This is going to get real trippy, real simmy. So rock with me. Again, we're not living in yesterday. There is no more yesterday. So what does that mean, Ty? Okay, so we talk a lot lately about our new identity being our now identity. So keep that in mind. We are being the new person now. So we don't say this is our new identity. This is our now identity. So in this now identity, we are skipping to the good part. Yes, we are fast forwarding the game and skipping to the good part. But what I want y'all to know and accept when we're doing this, there is no delay. So what I mean by that, we're going to go really deep into this in the video, but just a overview. What I mean by that is there may be rendering when you're playing The Sims as the player. You know you have an internal thought and you're now building. So there may be a rendering while you're in build mode. So no more yesterday means that you're living in your now identity, your new identity now, and there's no delay. We're skipping to the good part. However, the player has an idea and the player has to build. So in build mode. So this is when I say that their 3D may have a lag. What I really mean is because there is a build mode from the player having the idea on how the sim, how they want the sim to experience the game, how they want the house to look, there is a rendering. So the player has the idea, that is the internal, and now the player is building it. So there's a rendering. This is why I mean there may be a lag for you, the avatar, the sim, to actually experience it. But again, you're experiencing it all now once you've made that decision to be the person you desire to be now. So let's get into why there is no more yesterday and how we are now going to experience life in the build mode. Again, this is going to be one of those really trippy videos. You may need to replay it back, but either way, you're going to get this game. Literally, get this game. I'm childish. Anyway, let's go. So let's get rid of yesterday. I want y'all to know that your old reality is surviving off of repetition. I know you replaying the same thoughts you had yesterday. You're going to the same places you went yesterday. You're doing the same things that you did yesterday. You're thinking these same thoughts. You're really repeating yesterday, today. But because you're here, there is no more yesterday. Those old emotions from yesterday, those old feelings from yesterday, all of that is dead. If you think about it in The Sims, you went into the mirror, you selected your sim, you went to that 4D, you selected your sim, you changed your traits. But when you get into the 3D, you continue to play the game as that old version. We're not doing that anymore. I want you to release that old version into the ethers. Because again, if you want to play in your now identity, you're going to have to actually make those shifts now. This goes back to that nervous system regulation. I know we tie in everything here. We talk about it quantumly, we talk about it spiritually, we talk about it internally, we talk about it subconsciously, we talk about it every which way. So if you're being your now identity, this is where that nervous system regulation comes in. Again, because your old reality loves surviving off of repetition. So how do you get out of that? What can you do in your physical body, in the 3D, to truly shift into your now identity? And we're going to do baby steps. Start with nervous system regulation because we want to get your nervous system out of that old identity. We want to get your body out of that survival mode. So y'all know I love me some EFT tapping. I love me some meditation. I love journaling, grounded in nature. I actually also love making voice memos of my now self. I recommend you take all of these steps to let your 3D know you are being that new version of you now. So think of nervous system regulations as part of the build mode of the game. And we're about to talk real in depth about the build mode because again, y'all know we're playing this game as the player now. You're not playing this game as the avatar or as the sim. You're simply experiencing the game as the sim. But we're about to go deep into the player mode. So I want you to think of build mode. You as the player, you're in build mode. So internally, you have an idea of what you want your sim to look like, what you want your characteristics you want your sim to have, how you want the sim to play the game. You have an idea of how you want your house to look, how big you want it, what furniture you want, what cars you want to select. You have all of those things selected in your mind as the player. So that is the internal shifts you have made as the player. However, you have to render these builds into the game. That is the lag part of the game where I say you as a sim may experience lag. But I want you to think of the lag time as a time for you to truly regulate your nervous system, get grounded, like truly just be in this body or in this avatar as the sim as things are rendering. So think of this as your quantum jumps. Think of this as those practicing patience, practicing gratitude. While the game is loading, that is what your sim is doing because you, the player, is actually building out the game. But your sim is not passively waiting. They're doing that internal work in the background. Don't that sound good? I just love it, y'all. I'm so excited about that. Okay. The thing is, most people quit while they're in build mode because they're still seeing residue of their old reality. That is not the time to quit. Remember, that is the time to start practicing gratitude, practicing patience, nervous system regulating, grounding. That is not the time to quit because the player has already made the selections, has already decided. So whatever you desire to experience is going to happen. This is inevitable. So your job as the sim is to simply experience it. Again, there may be a lag, but that lag doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that your manifestations are not happening. Again, remember, coming from lucid luxury, you have the luxury of being present while it's all unfolded. Meaning you have the luxury of being the player who is doing the building while also simultaneously being the sim who's doing the experiencing. Again, so this is why there's no more yesterday, because as the player, you already created all of this. You already selected all of this. You already know how it's all unfolding. And as a sim, you get to experience it. However, because we're not living in yesterday, I don't want you to bring in yesterday's thoughts, yesterday's emotions, yesterday's experiences into who you are now. That is where a lot of us get tripped up. We're having the same thoughts, the same feelings as we did yesterday. We are not doing that anymore. If you are here, that is gone. It is your job here and now to truly take the tollway. That is what I want y'all to think about. Again, I know we talk about the tollway in the service world. So I want you to take the tollway to your desires. This is skipping to the good part, meaning that when you're on the service road, you tend to experience resistance. You tend to experience lag. You tend to experience old thoughts. But when you're on the tollway, you're experiencing all of this speed up. So you're experiencing alignment, you're experiencing joy, you're experiencing bliss, you're experiencing nirvana. This is what it means to take the tollway instead of the service road. This is what it means when we're skipping to the good part. So we're skipping to the good part on the tollway. Think of the tollway as pressing the speed up button in live gameplay mode, and you're speeding up to all of your desires fast forward. I want y'all to know when you're on the service road, that is where the resistance come in because of our attachments. We tend to be attached to our old identity. Like a lot of us say that we want to have these new experiences, we want to have this new identity, but we're waiting for the 3D to do that. No, you are being that person now, which means you're dropping attachments. You're releasing the old you. You're now embodying the most wealthiest, healthiest version of you. We're doing all of that now in this now identity. So when we drop the old identity, drop the addictions to the old emotion, drop the addiction to those old attachments, this is when we start playing the game on super easy mode. Yes, this is when everything starts happening all at once. This is when our manifestations start happening faster. This is when those synchronicities start happening more often. This is when you truly start to experience life as the sim and as the player, meaning that this is when you get to start experiencing your 3D reality from the awareness of the player, meaning all of those selections that you made for your highest and greatest timeline, you get to experience those now because you've released your attachments to the old identity, the old reality, the old game. Like we're not playing that game anymore. We archived that game and we are now playing in our now identity. And I want y'all to play all the way to the good part. We skipped and we're playing to the good part, but to get to the good part, again, you have to release the old identity. Stop going to that old file and replaying that sim. Let it go. Release that sim to the ether. We are playing on super easy mode. So keep in mind, your sim, your avatar is not building. The player, which is the awareness we're now playing the game from, is the one that is building, is the one that is selecting. Your sim is simply the one experiencing. However, you are experiencing all of this simultaneously. You've made these selections. You have that rendering of the new reality, the lag, if you want to call it. However, your sim is simply enjoying the experience. But you coming from the awareness of the player knows that it is all happening all at once. You coming from the awareness of the player knows that those desires must manifest because you've already built it into the game. I want you to start playing the game from this level of awareness because it becomes much more enjoyable. We're not playing from yesterday. Whatever you felt yesterday is dead and gone. We've archived that file. We're not pulling it back out. You actually can put that file in the trash or in the recycle bin and delete it. That's really what I want y'all to do if I'm being real. Put that old reality, that old identity, those old emotions, those old addictions, put all of that stuff in the recycling bin and hit permanently delete to those old reality. Hit it, it's gone. We're not playing from that awareness anymore. We're playing from the sped up version. We're playing from our now identity. Again, the player builds, the player selects, the player decides. And your avatar, the sim, you watching this video, is simply experiencing. Again, it's all happening simultaneously. So at any given moment, you, the player, get to make a different decision. But once you have made that decision, in player mode, in the 5D, do not go into the 3D with the old identity. Do not make these selections and then once you go back into live gameplay mode, you're like, oh, well, I'm about to play out this old reality. Why? What was the whole purpose of building? Like, no, we're not doing that anymore. We are done. Remember, we've deleted that file permanently. And we are no longer living in yesterday's game. We are only playing from our now identity. This goes back to we're not entertaining what we don't want to experience because we've just deleted that file. So we're only playing from the experiences that we desire to have right now, right here and now in this very moment. And remember, always be a passenger princess to your God self. Your God self being the player. You are the passenger princess. You are the sim. So enjoy the ride, princess. And as always, I'm happy, I'm blessed, I'm free. Yahweh. Bye.